Near the end of his life, a former general and a president, Dwight D. Eisenhower, warned the nation that a dangerous alignment was forming, that government and industry could merge into something that no longer served the people. That concentrated power, once unleashed, would be difficult to restrain. That warning was not partisan. It was prophetic, because such systems do not take freedom overnight. They take it gradually, quietly, legally. They take it when people are distracted. They take it when people are comfortable. They take it when people believe someone else will stop it. And most of all, they take it when good people do nothing. Today, we are watching that warning become reality. When land can be taken from families and handed to private industry without consent, that is not the action of a republic. That is the action of a king. When government protects corporations instead of citizens, authority has inverted. When the people are expected to comply instead of consent, they are no longer citizens. Subjects live under permission. Citizens live under rights. Kings take land. Republics protect it. And here is the truth we must confront, plainly and without comfort. The people who came before us were born subjects. They shed blood, sweat, and tears to gain independence. Through that sacrifice, they became free citizens of a free nation. And we, who inherited that citizenship without paying its cost, now face a moment of reckoning. Will we sit back in comfort and surrender what was bought in blood? Will we trade independence for convenience? Will we allow our silence to undo their sacrifice? Because if we do, the result is not theoretical. If we surrender citizenship, we do not just lose something for ourselves. We leave our children something worse. We leave them as subjects once again. And so the question before us is not symbolic. It is not historical. It is present and personal. After 250 years of independence, are we reverting from citizens back into subjects? Have we drifted so far from our founding that we now accept what our ancestors fled? Have we become so comfortable, so complacent, so silent that we allow the return of kings without crowns because they no longer announce themselves? 100 years ago, if you tried to take a man's land, you would have risked your life because land was understood to be freedom itself. This nation was not built by people who waited for someone else to fight their battles. It was built by men and women who stood, who sacrificed, and who refused to surrender their land, their liberty, or their future. The question now is unavoidable. Do we still have what it takes to defend the independence that was paid for in blood? Or will history record that freedom was not taken from us by force, but surrendered through silence?
President Donald J. Trump. As our nation prepares to commemorate 250 years of independence, we respectfully ask that you examine the expanding use of eminent domain for carbon capture and sequestration projects across America. For 2.5 centuries, private property has stood as a cornerstone of American liberty. The land we own and the resources beneath it represent freedom, security, and self-determination for millions of families. We appreciate your commitment to strengthening this country and putting America first. As we approach this historic anniversary, we hope that under your leadership, the Constitution's protections of private property remain clear, strong, and unwavering for generations to come. Save My Louisiana is a grassroots organization formed by conservative Louisiana citizens who believe the constitutional protections won 250 years ago are not relics of history, but living safeguards that must be defended. We refuse to stand silent while private property rights are weakened, because we believe the Constitution is not symbolic, it is binding. And we believe, Mr. President, that these are principles you have long defended. Mr. President, we pray that God continues to grant you wisdom in leadership. May this 250th year of independence renew our nation's commitment to liberty, law, and the rights of the people. God bless America.
This film was produced by Save My Louisiana, a conservative grassroots landowner and property rights organization founded by Michael D. Slocum and Robert G. Maddox IV. It was inspired by a growing national effort in which private industry is being granted the power of eminent domain for carbon capture and sequestration projects, not for roads or public utilities, but for private gain. Across the United States, state governments, through legislation enacted by state lawmakers and approved by governors after being granted federal primacy, have authorized this power, transferring it from the people to private industry. We believe this represents a direct violation of the Constitution, which does not permit the taking of private property for private use without a true public good, and marks a fundamental break from the principles of consent, property rights, and limited government. If you believe property rights matter, don't stay silent. Learn what's happening in your state. Share this film. Join the fight to stop eminent domain for private gain and the permanent injection of CO2 beneath our land, our water, and our families. Visit SaveMyLouisiana.org to take action and support the work.